So they're hiring civilians to torture me as a Christian. They try to manipulate me as a Christian and that's me. Especially, on days that connotate Christianity, like they use Christmas. Today's Christmas Day, December 25, 2025. So they put the elevator out of service. I normally use the bathroom at the McDonald's, and some other stores here. So they lock up the elevator to deny me bathroom service and have all their security guard following me. I was the one that suggested that they need to have security guards, and they put me on FBI surveillance since my mother brought me in 2000. They arrested me at the airport, JFK. They said children are not welcome with permanent residents, parents. My mother had a green card then, and the case lasted 8 years, and after that, me and my mother was living on Staten Island, and the police came and removed us from my basement apartment. Eric Garner was helping us with the court papers. They choked him dead, so they still put me on FBI surveillance, and they're able to listen to any discussion I have with anyone to the FBI surveillance. They say they routinely do that. If you ever have an immigration case, they'll forever put you on FBI surveillance. Even people like Martin Luther King, they will forever put us on FBI surveillance, and they ended up getting killed. I said, there's all kinds of, when they're watching you like that, they say that the FBI and their law enforcement are corrupt, and they would hire people even to kill you. My mother was also saying, while I'm on this FBI surveillance, that daughters were trying to kill her because they were jealous that I, as a gay person, I was about to win money with my mother, and they plotted to kill my mother or have her put in mental ward and put me in mental ward also to take control of the money. I guess they were motivated by things happening around that time, like Britney Spears said her father also put her in mental ward. And there was a Nigerian soccer player, Rashidi Yakini, in Nigeria. People were alleged his family exaggerated his mental illness to lock him up in a mental facility, and it was beaten to death allegedly, and the family took over his money. So my mother was saying she should be very careful that her daughter in Nigeria, Funke, and the daughters in Blanley and Flora, they were colluding to try to commit a crime, because they were jealous that I was going to win money, because the police came into me and my mother's home on Staten Island and kicked me and my mother out. Our daughters live in Pennsylvania and one lives in Nigeria, Funke. And she got killed like that way. The daughters framed, that's crazy. My mom was saying the daughters were trying to kill her and destroy her health to get custody, to get guardianship over her. So one daughter in particular, in 2014, 2015, Flora, my mother said put her in the back seat of the car and went and hit somebody's house because my mother has a heart problem, and I alleged in the court papers 13 CV 5052 that my mother has a heart problem and any little stress could cause her to have a heart attack and die. I said when the police came to remove us, she almost had a heart attack and died. My mother said our daughter Bonali and Flora were reading my court papers online in Pennsylvania, and that Flora put her in the backseat of the car, and they lured my mother to come in from New York. All of a sudden, the shelter my mother was staying in New York to kick that out because she has a high blood pressure. So my mother was crying, and she was like, she doesn't understand why that shelter would do that. So our daughter told her she has to come to New York. So I believe our daughter set her up. That's very weird for a shelter to kick somebody out because the person has high blood pressure. So the daughters told her to come to Pennsylvania. This is an opportunity for her to come to Pennsylvania, and they're going to give her $500 to come back to New York so she can rent a room. I guess they wanted her to work as a nanny for this Flora, and they didn't give her the $500. Instead, that Flora was trying to kill her, put her in the backseat of a car and went and hit somebody else. They had to call the ambulance and everything to report the incident. This was around 2014, 2015. So my mother said around that time that Flora and Bolari was contacted mother's daughter in Nigeria, and they were also contacting my father's family. My father had married a new wife that wanted to kill my mother. So my mother said she was very afraid because me and my mother testified against that new wife in my court papers in U.S. Immigration Court in 2001. My immigration file number is 77954628. So 2014, around 2014, 2015, while my mother was living with her daughters in Pennsylvania, she said she was noticing a lot of stuff, where police had to be invited, like that Flora would put her in the backseat of the car and go and crash into somebody's house. And to try to get my mother to die of a heart attack, I say it wasn't just that one incident. Then even while she was living in that Flora's house, that Flora is married to a black American soldier. So the black American soldier tried to punch my mother for no reason. And the police will come, was just trying to scare my mother. So the police told my mother to leave, that she must be the troublemaker in the house. Because my mother had a Nigerian accent and her daughter and the husband have an American accent. So they're saying the police in America are very biased against foreigners, so they didn't help my mother. She was a victim of elder abuse, so they told her to leave that Flores house. So my mother went to live with that Bolanle, and that Bolanle also made my mother feel unwanted, that she doesn't want, because that Bolanle has her own house. She wasn't married, she doesn't have a child, but she doesn't like to live with people. She's like very standoffish and pompous, even though she was 40 something years old and she was living alone. But anytime my mother tried to live with her, my mother had to run away because that Bolani was very abusive towards my mother. My mother took her to Nigeria, was beating my mother up in Nigeria. So my mother sent her and her other sister back to America to live with the white family. As soon as they got here, they beat up the white family, so they had to arrest them, put them in foster care and juvenile prison and stuff. So as soon as my mother started living in that Bolani, my mother said that Bolani would whenever the snow falls, she wouldn't shovel the snow and leave it on purpose. And my mother said she never used to do that before. Until that 2014, 2015, because that brand had bought a house since like 1998. And my mother said she used to shovel snow and stuff. But so this time around, it was leaving the snow purposefully so that my mother would trip on the snow and die. So my mother said that Flora came to visit that Bolanle and my mother in Bolanle's house and said she fell on the snow and they had to take her to the hospital. That Flora. So my mother was wondering, like, why are children acting funny? She doesn't even know. They're probably setting things up to commit home insurance policy fraud, So my mother said she got the shovel out and shoveled the snow. Then she started noticing that Bolanle was poisoning her food with like cancer freeze poison, which was giving my mother bloody diarrhea and triggering her to have a heart attack. And while I was here in New York, there was a Nigerian lawyer. I used to go to his church. His name is Reverend Pastor Ike. So he was telling me my mother may die of a heart attack soon. And he works with the police department. He's their lawyer at the Department of Corporation Counsel. They represent the police in case when the police kills people and stuff. So he told me he's a Nigerian pastor, so he's also a lawyer. So I was trying to tell him that, look, the police evicted me, my mother wrongfully, that's why I'm on the street. If you can assist me in getting a lawyer. But instead, he told me that my mother needs to leave Pennsylvania and stuff, that God told him she's going to die of a heart attack soon. And he also told me that I should reconcile with my father because soon enough, if I don't do it quickly, I may not have the opportunity to do it again. And soon after I predicted that my father and mother were killed, as I was suing this police department. So, so I told my mother, like, look, there's a pastor from Nigeria. His name is Pastor Ike. Somebody introduced me to him. He said he works for the New York City Corporation Council. They represent police officers. Some of the police officers I'm suing. So, it's just so funny. Someone told me to go to his church, and he's been telling me you're going to. So I was telling my mother that the pastor says she's going to die of a heart attack soon. So my mother was telling me that the pastor is right, that daughter, Bolanle, has been poisoning her food with cancer freeze poison, and she's having like bloody diarrhea, heart attack symptom. So I was like, wow. So my mother said, she hopes to leave Pennsylvania alive, that she's making plans to escape. So I told her to come to the church. That pastor said she should come for prayer, but she was like, she doesn't want to go to his church, because that pastor also said he used to be a member of a satanic cult while he was a college student in Nigeria, and they commit all kinds of abuses. So my mother was like, she can't trust a man like that would admit to being part of a satanic cult. And he wrote a book about it. And soon after that, my mother died of a heart attack. My mother fled out Pennsylvania. She said that Bolanle had poisoned her food, and my mother was having bloody diarrhea and heart attack symptoms. So my mother secretly fled out Pennsylvania, got on a Greyhound bus to come to New York. While on the bus, on May 13, 2025, she started having symptoms of a heart attack. She said she had been experiencing that symptoms, but she didn't want to go to hospital in Pennsylvania because that daughter, Bolanle, she was moving with like a gang, and she didn't want them to bribe the doctor to poison my mother in the hospital or something, because my mother used to work in the hospital here in America as nursing assistant, and she said she used to see a whole lot of stuff where doctors would abuse the patient, and sometimes the patient would die, and the doctors would be laughing about it. So my mother was just trying to take extra caution. So she didn't go to a hospital in Pennsylvania. She decided to secretly come to New York. She decided to secretly come to New York and come to the hospital here in New York. just to so that address one of the, the extent of her health issues, because that daughter was poisoning her, and she didn't want that daughter to to manipulate the hospital system in Pennsylvania. So my mother secretly got on the Greyhound bus to come to New York for medical treatment. My mother said while she was on the bus, she started experiencing more symptoms of a heart attack, so she told the bus to pull over and call the ambulance. So my mother started eating aspirin. So by the time the ambulance was on their way, my mother told the bus to keep driving to New York, because my mother didn't want to go to a hospital in Pennsylvania or anywhere else where those doors can easily access the hospital. So she thought, like creating a distance would provide her more security, so those daughters won't be able to manipulate the hospital. So my mother got here to New York, and she was taken to Bellevue Hospital eventually. And while she was there, the daughter showed up in the hospital like 3 days later. So my mother was wondering how the daughters found her. So my only suspicion would be that you can order trackers online and put it in somebody's bag to find where somebody is. And say abusive people would do that. I used to send emails to those daughters around 2010, 11, and all of a sudden they sent a virus to me and erased all my emails. I contacted Yahoo that my mother's daughter Flora husband Ayinde is a member of the U.S. military. So he sent me an invite. It had like a nude pic or something. So I was wondering, why is he sending me an invite with a nude pic? So I clicked the link. I was just wondering what that was about. And when I clicked the link, all my email vanished from my Yahoo account. So it hacked into my account. So it's very good with computers, and my mother said it was acting weird, and my mother's daughters were acting weird alongside him. They were all trying to kill my mother. So they must have put a tracking device in my mother's bag, and they were able to locate my mother where she was at, when she was in the hospital, and they came over, and my mother's address were just, trolling my mother, they were acting like they were homeless also, so that the hospital will maltreat my mother, because here in New York, there's a lot of hostilities towards us Africans, and there's a lot of hostility towards us homeless. They said they should be locking up homeless in the mental ward. Around that time, de Blasio was the mayor and stuff. I mean, Bloomberg had already left a directive that he wants homeless to be embarrassed and shamed. And so my mother's address was always monitoring things happening in New York, because they originally used to live in New York before they moved to Pennsylvania. When my mother went to Nigeria, she had them stay with the family in Pennsylvania, and they beat up that family. So the address always monitored news in New York, So they came from Pennsylvania, and they told the hospital to lock my mother up in a psych ward. Even the daughter apparently agreed and told me that she did it on purpose. She thought that was the easiest way to get housing, and she wanted to come stay with my mother in New York, even though she was kicking my mother out of the house in Pennsylvania. She said because she also heard that in New York, if you claim your family member is sick and can't stay by themselves, is like mentally ill, they'll give you housing and let you stay with your family member and work as a home aide and get paid to stay home while they take care of the family member. So that was why she was exaggerating my mother's health to make it look like she was crazy and she has a heart problem. So she said that's why she wanted my mother locked up for her own gain. And she admitted everything to me by text message and through phone call. And the FBI was listening. That she purposefully was calling my mother crazy. She said she wasn't really trying to kill her. She was just trying to get her housing. And and also that would have benefited this banana. Even though she has a house in Pennsylvania, she was doing drugs and she didn't want to go to work. She had a master's degree, so she said it would be better for her to just stay in New York with my mother, have my mother suffer through all the humiliation of being called crazy, and then have her arrested, and then get custody of my mother and stay in New York with her, and be getting payment from the city, because the city said they're going to be paying family members that take care of their sick family members. But having a heart problem is not enough to get you a home aid. You have to have some severe, issue where you're totally disabled or permanent, So she got the hospital to lock my mother up, and my mother already has a heart problem. And my mother was so angry. They said my mother died. They had to remove my mother from the ventilator. And the FBI and everything wouldn't help me. They were listening to even my mother when she was telling me I was about to kill her. Even when she comes here from Pennsylvania, before she finally came here for the last time, sometimes she would come here and go back there because she didn't want to be homeless on the street because she didn't have a house in it. And she would tell me, the adults are trying to kill her. She's reported them to Pennsylvania police. They wouldn't help her. And she reported them to New York police. The adults lured her from New York to go to Pennsylvania. And the New York police wouldn't help her either. Saying that she should keep contacting the Pennsylvania police. But when you lure somebody from New York under false pretext, New York police can handle it also. But because my mother has an accent, the police are discriminate. They don't even me now. They don't even listen to me. So all of a sudden I'm seeing my mother's daughter here in New York. Last month, November 14th, a day synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday. That apparently was born on August 14th. She's a real female. I was born a male. Now I'm a woman. So it seems the police. They said the police department here in America and the FBI. They always encourage black on black murder. They don't investigate it. Even some of these rappers, when Notorious B.I.G. and Jam Master Jay, they were killed. People said they knew who killed them, but the police wouldn't arrest the killers. Even for these famous celebrities, talk less of me, a Nigerian, a black Nigerian. So the police and FBI, they are messing up the case. Even my friend Eric Garner, when the white police officer killed them around my birthday, at the place where I just met Eric Garner, and they promised to help me at Bay Street and Victor Boulevard, and the police when I killed them, so he wouldn't be able to help me. I said the police was laughing. I've been contacting the FBI, the United States Justice Department, and everything. They still won't help me up to now for the Eric Garner killing. So now this Trump also joined in, said he doesn't want. He said he's trying to protect America from immigrants that just want to come here and make money. So I've been trying to sue, and get compensation for the way my mother was killed and the way I was arrested wrongfully by the police, by the immigration in 2000. And this Trump, apparently, they're all aware, and he's been saying he's going to deport all the immigrants, that they come here to make money and collect benefits. They need to go back to their country. They can't be getting any benefits here. Even shut up on food stamp. He's been saying doesn't want immigrants on food stamp. And he even shut down the country so that there will be no food stamp payment paid to me and other recipients. And he said that was why he shut down the country, because there were some people here, collecting benefit, and they don't need to collecting this benefit. They need to go back to their countries and stuff, or they need to get it. He said they need to get medicine, not benefit. So they've been trying to kill me the same way my mother's daughters killed her. So my friend Mark's crazy, and then Eric Adams is assisting this Trump to say that the police should be arresting homeless and framing up. So it's crazy. And this Trump said, Eric Adams is supposed to be in prison right now because the former President Biden had him arrested last year for receiving bribery from Turkey. But Trump said he should drop the case, that he needs Eric Adams for a special type of immigration work. So all the federal prosecutors resigned. They said they don't understand what kind of special immigration work, because Eric Adams is a mayor, not an immigration officer. So apparently, the immigration work is to deport me into psychiatric care. The special, quote-unquote, special immigration work is to deport me to psychiatric care. They say once they declare you crazy, they can kill you in a psychiatric hospital. Even there's an Oklahoma Disability Law Center. They said when people are in mental facilities in America, this is very easy for the staff to abuse those people, and the courts and the jury wouldn't take the case serious, because when the staff said the person is crazy and was attacking the staff, and they can just beat you to death, and the courts would help you. In America, people, So I may being gay, born a male, not a woman, so I'm expressing discrimination. So last month, they said, since Trump said they should stop gays from using women's bathroom, but this applies only to federal agencies, because New York is a federal system of government. So, this is a state facility, so New York has a law that gays are allowed in women's bathroom. So I'm a woman now, I was born a male. So anytime I use the women's bathroom, they bring the police throughout this year. They said they want to arrest me, that I shouldn't be using the women's bathroom. And I went back to use the bathroom on Chambers Street on November 14, 2012, a day synonymous with my mother's birthday, daughter's birthday, Bolanle. She was born on August 14. And the police came and arrested me in the bathroom. They always use their Me Too gang, because my mother said while her daughter was living in America in the 90s, she said that she was sexually assaulted. So I guess she was, she's not part of the Me Too. And the Me Too also have an agenda to stop gays from using women's bathroom and stuff. So they always gang up against me. I guess they're working with the FBI. Anytime I use the bathroom, they'll bring their Me Too gang and call the police on me, say my body stinks, and try to kill me. And it's called being a Karen. They say white people would kill a black person based on lies. There was this black boy named Imatel. He said a white woman lied on him. He was 12 years old, visiting Mississippi from Chicago, and the white woman lied on him that he was looking at her sexually. And I think back then, blacks and whites can have sex legally. And got the boy beat up and killed by a mob. And that lady finally admitted a few years ago that she lied on that boy wasn't looking at her. So she just wanted him to be killed, due to racism. And the police, when I arrest this woman, they said she's too old. They can't really bring a case against her. I don't know if she's still alive, but she's in a nursing home somewhere. So this is what they're doing. The FBI and NYPD and their Me Too, they're lynching blacks. And it's called being a Karen. They said they've killed so many black Americans like that, where people would just call police or kill the black American for no reason. People like Ahmaud Marbury in Georgia, people like Elijah McClain in Denver, Colorado. They said this Elijah McClain was coming home from work and somebody called the police on him, said he looked crazy. Even though it wasn't crazy, it was just wearing a winter coat like me. And they said it wasn't that cold that day, but it was still a winter like November 2019. And then the police said they were going to put him in mental care. And so he told them no. He explained to them that he was just coming home from work. And while he was talking, the police began choking him. So the police came into the bathroom on Chambers on November 14, 2025. A day synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday, Bolanle. I think she may be working with this FBI and stuff. So he decided to kill me because this Bolanle would be the one to inherit all my property because I'm gay, I don't have any child, I'm not married. They say if you die without a will, they would, your property will be given to your family member. So I guess this FBI, she may be working for the FBI now and stuff, think, why don't we just kill this person and call this person crazy? And my mother's daughter would get the money and share it among them. Because sometimes I see her in company of some strangers. She comes here to New York and she'll be following me around. So my mother said she's moving with a bad gang and she doesn't know who those people are. They do drugs together and stuff. But I see her in New York also, but she's able to locate where I'm at. So I'm thinking she's an FBI agent. I said, because she's an American citizen, then sometimes the FBI hires people to, to go after their family members. Because I had an immigration case in 2000, and sometimes they may try to reopen that case and stuff, and they will just, so they may just be using her to harass me for no reason. Because at one point when I had that immigration case, my mother was very abusive to me. She was trying to abandon me on the street, So she and her daughter would make up stories that I was dangerous, I was attacking them, and have the police arrest me. So I think they may be trying to frame me up. They say, they always look for someone to frame up for crimes. So I guess they may be trying to frame me up with the FBI that even though my mother's daughter killed my mother, I admitted to killing my mother, but they may be trying to frame me up that I'm the crazy person, and maybe my immigration case and got me so, got so stressed out, and I was giving my mother stress, and that's why she died early. So I believe this FBI are working with my mother's daughter that this is how we're going to frame this Nigerian up. And they said in America, people don't really give a care about Africans, and we're going to kill this African in the bathroom and shed the money. So the U.S. Congress needs to investigate this FBI. Not only do they not take rappers serious when they're killed, like people like Notorious B.I.G. and people like Jam Master Jay. It took a long time to arrest these killers. Even though some people are alleged PDD may be involved in killing Notorious B.I.G. or whatever, they say they've already arrested a guy for another issue or whatever. I don't think the Notorious B.I.G. killing has been resolved. And even his lawyers are saying that the FBI is covering it up, that they always allegedly cover up black murder. Even they said the FBI hired the assassin that killed Martin Luther King and his family, alleged It took them a long time to find out, and when they filed the lawsuit, they could only win $100 because they filed too late, and they had to use a special law in North Carolina or somewhere like that, Carolinas, which allowed them to sue late, but they could only win $100. So they're bringing my mother's daughters near me to harass me. Anytime I try to use the bathroom, they will lock up I believe it's the FBI telling these train workers that we want this person to be soiling the pants. We're going to frame this person up as crazy and kill this person and give the money to my mother's daughters. So when they see me trying to use the bathroom, when they tell the McDonald's to not let me use the bathroom, sometimes I go there to buy food all the time. And sometimes they will tell me the bathroom is it's not in use, it's out of service. And the bathroom wouldn't be, there was one day I went to the McDonald's and they told me the bathroom was out of service. I was like, I just came out of the bathroom. You allowed another customer use it. And I used it right after. I said, I just came back there to see if I left my earphone, and then she went and opened up the bathroom, and it wasn't out of service. And she was like, we don't see any earphone here. So I was like, so why are you lying that the bathroom's out of service? I just came out of the bathroom. A couple of days ago in the McDonald's, I went there to buy food. And I saw another customer leaving the bathroom, so I went in after them. And I used the bathroom was in service. So I came back like 10 minutes later because I misplaced my earphone. I didn't know where I put it. So I went back there and I told her, please, can I go back into your bathroom? I just came out of there. And she was like, no, the bathroom is out of service. I'm like, I just came out of the bathroom like 5 minutes ago. There's no way, and it was in good working condition. And then I said, I just want to get my earphone out, and I left it on the floor. And she went and opened the door to the bathroom, and I saw the bathroom was still the same way I left it. So they tell me to be lying. And so I guess if I did not went into the bathroom as soon as the customer came out, because you have to ask them for a key. And sometimes when I ask them for a key, they'll tell me it's out of service. They only want the white customers to use it. They said McDonald's now has a policy that even they said in Minnesota somewhere, they started that policy that, that they have the right to refuse entry and service to people based on the way they look. And they always try to treat me like I have the look of the person they don't want. So they got racial profile. I just read read it online. That since November or something like that, the McDonald's in Minnesota has been doing that. They look at you. So I don't know what kind of look they're looking for, but that seems like a code to discriminate, and they always discriminate against other McDonald's and other McDonald's. They won't want me to use the bathroom. They only want their white customers to use the bathroom. So the FBI may be encouraging abuse like this. So they're having my mother's daughters follow me around. I just saw a couple of days ago as I was walking past the Chambers Street station on a day synonymous with her birthday, November 14, 2025. Some police officer came into the bathroom and accused me of stealing a cell phone. And I was trying to explain to them I didn't steal a cell phone. And they hit my head against the wall and they were beating me, choking me, and they wanted to kill me. So I guess that they intentionally set me up on that November 14 and planned to kill me that day. And even if they kill me and they charge them with murder, the defense in court was, we weren't trying to kill this person. We saw this person was crazy, and the mother's daughter, Bolali, was working for us, and we're just trying to get this person in psychiatric lockup. And the only way we could get them to lockup is just to frighten them and take them from the bathroom. We're sorry we killed this person. But, but we chose the date 14, which is synonymous with the daughter's, with the sister's birthday, to show, we're just trying to help this person, put them in psychiatric lockup, because they were crazy. Their craziness killed the mother because they were so crazy from the immigration arrest, and they were always fighting with the mother, and the mother died of a heart attack through that. So we don't want this person, and we heard this person is fighting everybody in the McDonald's, and we don't want this person to kill another person with a heart attack. So we had to, in self-defense of our nation, because our nation comes first. This person is so crazy, fights people get a heart attack. The mother is dead of a heart attack already. But my mother is dead because my mother was telling me our daughter was poisoning her. So they are framing me up as crazy, and they chose the date number 14, which is synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday. So they could explain to the jury that we were just trying to help this person. My mother said that daughter, she knows how to cry and lie. There was a time she framed me up as crazy. So in 2001, the immigration had arrested me. I had a court case to go back to immigration court. So my mother and her daughters So as soon as I came into the country in 2000, you know, I was arrested at JFK because they said my mother didn't get the proper visa to bring me here. And my mother told me like a green card covers me, and she brought me here from Nigeria. You know, because at that time my father was abusive to me, so she came back to Nigeria. And she didn't even bother giving me the right visa. So she told me to get on the plane with her, that green card covers me. When we got to JFK, they told me, no, your mother lied to you. Her green card doesn't cover you. And they arrested me. It was only me they arrested, even though if you bring somebody here illegally, they're supposed to arrest the parents also for trafficking. But it was only me they arrested because I was a boy back then, I'm not a woman, and my mother was a woman. So they have this preference for women in America. So I went through the immigration case, and they released me from prison on bail and said I have to keep coming back. So as soon as they released me from prison, my mother was tired of taking care of me because she was staying in a single room, and so Adoras wanted to help her with money because my mother said when she left America in the 1980s, our daughters, ended up stealing some money from my bank account because my mother had won like $100,000 there was lead poisoning in the house in the 80s where my mother was living in the 70s and 80s, and so she sued the landlord for the lead poisoning in the house. So she won like almost $100,000. And my mother said Doris stole that money from my mother's bank account. In the 1990s, while my mother was in Nigeria. So my mother was trying to get Doris to give her some of that money. And they won't give her, so my mother said they forged her signature. So my mother was like, she always tells her daughter, at that time both of them like had college degrees. They were born here in America, they had US passport. So she was telling them to help her with money to take care of me because the daughters didn't have any financial obligation. They weren't married. They didn't have children, and they both had like college degrees. And so my mother was working as a homemaker, and the daughters had better jobs than my mother. So she was always telling the daughters to borrow her money to take care of me. And the daughters was like, no, they don't have to borrow her money or anything. That she should just throw me out on the street. At that time I was like 19. They said 19 is old enough to live on the street. That all these Mexicans come to America and they're on the street. And they find jobs. It's like my immigration issue is not an issue for me not to find a job. I could just find a job anywhere. So they told my mother to be calling the police on me and tell the police that I'm crazy, I don't want to go to work, I'm depressed. So my mother would call the police on me and tell them like, I'm 19, I'm crazy, I don't want to go to work, I'm depressed. And the police would take me to psychiatric hospital. It called St. Vincent Medical Center. And there was an Indian doctor there, a Sri Lankan doctor. So when she told me, so she would interview me that you're 19, your mother said you're depressed, you don't want to go to work. And I was explaining to the doctor, no, I'm not crazy. I have an immigration case and they don't allow me to go to work because of my immigration case. I know, I don't have the work papers and stuff. I said, my mother's just lying. So the doctor warned my mother, said, next time you call the police to lie on this kid, that this kid is just crazy and depressed, doesn't want to go to work. But when this kid explained to us that, they're not crazy, they're just having an immigration case. So that Sri Lankan doctor, she was a female, said, next time you lie on this person, we're going to get the police to arrest you for abuse of this immigrant. So my mother and Adora saw that, the doctor is helping me here in New York. It's not going to be possible to play that game with me in New York. So my mother and her daughters have been committing crimes together, since 2000. So my addressing us, they were busted. They can't really play that game in New York because the doctor may have already put a warrant or whatever on my mother here in New York that this woman is abusing an immigrant, calling the police wrongfully. So my mother didn't want to call the police anymore on me in New York because the doctor had already busted her. So what my mother did next was to tell the landlord. We were staying in an apartment, in a room, tell the landlord to kick me and my mother out. To make it, so that I'll be on the street and leave me to die on the street. So one day the landlord told me, we're kicking you and your mother out, but we're taking your mother to another place, but you can't come to the other place, so you're going to remain on the street. So I started crying and said to the landlord, look, I can't be on the street, I have an immigration case. Why would you do that to me? It's against the law for you to single-handedly evict me, So my mother started crying and told the landlord, that he should abort the plan. She doesn't want to do that anymore. So the landlord said, it's too late. The landlord was like, this was 196 Albertine Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10302. So after my mother had already be calling the police on me in that room, because she wanted to abandon me to the psych ward, and she would lie that I'm crazy, I'm depressed, I'm 19, I don't want to go to work. And the doctor now found out I wasn't crazy, I just didn't have work permission. So she tried another move. Her drugs were teaching her. She just get the landlord to kick your son out. I was still a male then. And then, this person would just die on the street in the cold, and we just blame it on craziness. And the American system felt this kid was crazy. Didn't want to work, but the fact was I didn't have work permission. So my mother she and her daughter tried another plan, which was to get the landlord to evict me single-handedly, at 192 Albertine Avenue. I hope I got the number right. I believe it's 192 Albertine Avenue. So we were there for like a year, less than a year. As soon as I came in from Nigeria, the landlord told me and my mother to go. That my mother told her she doesn't want to live with me, and then when she wants me on the street. So he said he's going to take my mother to another apartment, but I can't come. So I told my mother, look, this is against the law for you to do that, to illegally evict me. So my mother told the landlord to abort the plan. So the landlord said it's too late, that that she can't come back into the house and I can't come back to the house. So me and my mother ended up on the street. So my mother then, went and rented an hotel room. So I was like, so I went to the hotel. I was telling her, look, the hotel was charging like $50 a night. And, and she was working as a home method, making $6 an hour. I'm like, we can't afford this hotel. Why can't we rent another room, another apartment, which is much cheaper? And she was like, no, she's tired of all these landlords. That, the other landlord may kick us out also. That usually they don't like two people. I'm like, you went and told this landlord to evict me only. And she was like, because they don't really be liking two people. And that was why, and she was just making up lies. So, and I noticed, so she was paying for the hotel. And I kept telling her, look, I do call landlords that have rooms, cheap rooms, like the one we left, we were evicted out of. I was like, and she was like, she's not interested in renting another room. We're just going to be in the hotel permanently, and she's going to buy a house. I was like, it's so expensive in the hotel. She was like, it doesn't matter. Then one day she told me to follow her to Manhattan. So I followed her. Then we got to Manhattan. I saw her buying a bus ticket to go to Pennsylvania. I said, I'm not going to Pennsylvania with you because your daughters are very abusive. I don't want you to dump me in Pennsylvania. And she was like, no. I'm going to come back with you to New York. I just need, we're just going there for less than a day. So she manipulated me to go with her because, she said she's going to Pennsylvania regardless, with or without me. So, and I didn't have money to pay the hotel because we always pay per day. So I'm like, if she may just want to abandon me in the hotel because, I think we had already checked out of the hotel. So I was like, the hotel may not even let me in because I don't have money. So under that duress, I flown out to Pennsylvania because she was the one paying for the hotel. And she said she was going to Pennsylvania. I think she had already checked us out of the hotel. So I didn't have anywhere to stay, so I followed her to Pennsylvania under that duress. And when we got to Pennsylvania, I was like, I suspected, as soon as we got to Pennsylvania to Flora's house, my mother came out of the house with Flora, and they went into Flora's car. So I suspected she was going to leave me there in Pennsylvania, 636 Industry Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15210. I suspect she was going to leave me there, and Flora was driving her to the bus station to take the bus back to New York. So I got in the car with them. So that Flora told me, no, get out of the car when you're not coming with us. And my mother was acting like she's also getting out of the car. As soon as I got out, my mother got back in. As I was trying to get back in that Flora, he hit me with the car. As a matter of fact, I hadn't fully gotten out yet. I was about to get out, and my mother just stayed in the car. I thought she was going to get out with me, and and that Flora just drove off while I was sitting in the car. And the door was open, and I fell off, and the car hit me. Then the Polanyi called the police, said I was crazy, fighting them, had a weapon, So their plan was to abandon me in the psychiatric hospital in Pennsylvania because they saw it's going to be hard for her to lock me up in a psychiatric hospital in New York City because the plan had been busted. The Indian doctor was smart enough, Sri Lanka, she was a woman. When I explained to her that my mother was just trying to dump me in the psychiatric hospital, she and her daughters, because I don't have work papers, and my mother had a green card, the rest have an American passport. So the woman said, next time my mother calls the police, she's going to lock my mother up. So my mother tried a second plan to tell the landlord to kick me and her out of 192 Everton Avenue so that she can then, abandon me on the street and blame it on the landlord. And then her daughter gave another plan to bring me to Pennsylvania so they'll be the one to lock me up in the mental ward. And then she'll be free, not having to take care of me anymore. Even though under immigration law, any child under 21 is the responsibility of the sponsor. You're still a minor child, and also when you bring someone here to America, you have to provide sponsorship for the person till the person becomes a U.S. citizen. So then they locked me up in the mental ward in Pennsylvania, hit me with a car, my mother's daughters and my mother. So the name of the hospital in Pennsylvania is Mercy Psychiatric Hospital. So when I got to the hospital, the daughters hit me with a car, called the police officer. I was explaining to the doctors that my mother and her daughters were just setting me up so I could miss my immigration court date, and so I could be ordered deported in absentia. So the hospital didn't believe me. So they said they spoke with my mother's daughter, Bolale, and she said, I don't have any immigration court case. I don't have any immigration case at all. I was just delusional, imagining it. So I called my immigration lawyer to call the hospital in Pennsylvania. My immigration lawyer was based in New York. His name is Ralph DiPietro. So he called him and told him I did have an immigration case. And the hospital told me, that my mother's daughter was pretending like I did have an immigration case, that she's like so narcissist that they believed her, like she's like a real psychopath, that they can't believe somebody would be lying about our own family member, that I didn't have an immigration case. That was just crazy. And they told me they're so sorry to arrest me and put me in the psychiatric hospital for many days. So they then released me, but they didn't arrest my mother. So I was able to come back to New York for my case. That was in 2001 that my mother and her daughters did it to me, locked me up in the mental ward wrongfully. 14 years later, the daughters came here to New York after my mother had left Pittsburgh to lie on her while she was after they had poisoned her with counterfeit poison while she was laying in ICU. The daughters came here from Pennsylvania. They must have put a tracker in my mother's bag because my mother, she knew her daughters would lie on her also. That's why my mother was avoiding the hospital in Pennsylvania. That's what she started by hiding in a New York hospital. The daughters, because she knew if she dare went to the hospital in Pennsylvania, the daughters would come to that hospital and say, my mother is crazy, lock her up. Because none of the daughters wanted her. So they would have locked her up in the mental ward as housing. Because, they said our daughters were the one that was suggesting that if someone is homeless, locking mental home is the new home. So my mother was trying to avoid that. That's why she secretly fled to New York. Hoping that daughters won't be able to find her in the hospital. But the daughters had put a tracker in her bag. And as soon as she got to New York, she told the daughters she's in the hospital and they shouldn't worry. She's not going to tell them the name of the hospital. She said a day later the daughters showed up in the hospital. And they told the hospital, lock her up. She's crazy, lock her up. And the hospital obliged her, lock her up. And even the daughter admitted, Bolale, that she lied on my mother, that she was crazy. She was just trying to get her housing. She's like, calling somebody crazy is the best way to get housing for the person. I'm like, excuse you? Even though my mother was having a heart problem, I said, you were willing to put her through stress? You have a house in Pennsylvania. The other daughter, Flora, has a house. You guys stole $100,000 from my mother's bank account, and you guys have college degrees. You can't just, co-sign and buy her a house because my mother was also working. You have to call her crazy. And this Bolale was like, that she heard that Governor Bloomberg, who was started this initiative to be locking up homeless in the psych ward, also said that also brought an initiative that or De Blasio, one of these mayors, Mayor Bloomberg, brought an initiative that enticed this Bolale to lock my mother up, even though she has that kind of intent already. She did that to me in 2001 and did it to my mother in 2015. But she said what really encouraged this Bolale to carry out a criminal intent of framing people up as crazy was that she heard that, if your family member is disabled, you can stay with them in New York. The New York will provide housing for you and the family member, and they'll be paying you to take care of that family member. So this family doesn't want to work, so just want to be doing drugs. So she declared my mother crazy. She can then be in New York because, I've been doing drugs and she pretending that she's taking care of my mother. So she admitted it, and the FBI refused to arrest her. Instead, I guess they're trying to frame me up as being so crazy, that the immigration case made me so crazy, and because of that, my mother was so afraid of me, and that's how she died of a heart attack. And they don't want me to use my craziness to kill more people in America. So so they're telling this train to be locking up the elevator so I don't get upstairs, so I don't bother nobody upstairs. When I need to use the bathroom. So this idea is making up lies, and the train workers will quickly go and lock up the elevator so I go to use the bathroom. And they hold me hostage. Like now, so they're holding me hostage, and they have people jump me, people beat me up all the time. They said that we don't want you to use your craziness to kill other people. We heard your craziness kill your mother. So they decided to plot to frame me up. They said if your money talks in America and pussy walks. So I'm a poor Nigerian. So the FBI is out of control, and they believe my mother's daughter, will get the money. I'm always in a company of men, all kinds of strange men, and I don't know if she's bisexual also, or sometimes women, and they're always following me around. She lives in Pennsylvania, so like pretending like, she wants to use that secret, crazy weapon. That's how they kill people in America. Even Michael Jackson's father said, when they were calling his son Wacko Jacko in 2009, he said he was afraid they were going to kill his son and blame it on his son crazy. And said, as soon as they told him his son was dead and his son was injecting himself with propofol in the house, he said the doctor was giving him propofol in the house. And he said he wanted that doctor arrested. That somebody must have set him up with that doctor, because that propofol is a drug that can cause a heart attack, and you're not supposed to give it to somebody in the house. Why would a doctor claim his son was crazy and the son wanted to be taking propofol in the house? So they got the doctor arrested. So this is what they're doing. So they chose, last month they wanted to kill me in the bathroom, and they chose a day synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday so that the jury will believe them that we didn't really want to kill this person. They say my mother's daughter Balani knows how to cry. She's like a real psychopath. One of the people she was living with, and she beat them up because she was so disobedient. Because as soon as my mother took her to Nigeria in 1989, and she would beat my mother up in Nigeria. So she doesn't like Nigeria. She doesn't like the way they speak English or whatever. So my mother brought her told the white family to take her to Pennsylvania, And as soon as she got to Pennsylvania, she was very disobedient to the white family. She said she likes to eat in her room. And the white family was like, in America, we don't let people eat in the room because it could bring roaches. And she beat up the white family, broke their bone and stuff. So they had to have her arrested, and put her in foster care and stuff. I said, at one point, the white family tried to bring them back into the house against it. My mother, that friend told me, while the wife was driving, her name is Carla, she said my mother, her daughter Flora, and her sister Balale said they were beating up the white woman. She was driving, boom, boom, punching her, and they almost caused her to have an accident. And the woman had to dump them back in foster care. Her name is Carla Anderson. So my mother's daughters have been out of control. Why would you beat up the family because they don't want you to eat in the room, and then they call the police to arrest you, and they put you into foster care? So my mother told the white family that she doesn't want a child in foster care. So the white family went and got them back. And she said after the white family got them back, one day they were still living with the family, and the woman Carla Anderson was driving, and my mother said her daughter said two of them started punching the woman, boom, bam, boom, jumping her, and she went out of a car accident, and she had to dump them back in foster care, And now these are the same daughters the FBI is working with, that we can F up this Nigerian gay, thinking they can come to America and be gay. They said in America, there's something against, the culture is against femininity, men. They like men to be macho. So, so they're having me jump, punch. My daughter specialized in jumping. So the police came into the bathroom November 14, 2025, A day synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday, 14. She was born August 14. And were punching me, boom, bam, beating me, kicking me, boom, boom. And they were, I still have a broken leg, and they hoping, they were thinking, they were laughing. So their plan was to kill me in the bathroom and claim I was crazy. I'd already killed my mother with the craziness, that my mother was trying to escape from me, due to my craziness, and because, I wouldn't work, I wouldn't go to school, so my mother was trying to lock me up in a mental ward. And she wouldn't tell the doctors that at that time I was 19, but the reason why I wasn't working or go to school was I didn't have the immigration papers, and I didn't have the money to go to school. My mother could barely pay rent because she was working as a home at day, and all the money was going towards rent. And to hire me a lawyer, she couldn't afford to send me to school, and she was trying to blame it on me that I was just depressed. I had all the immigration papers in the world. I was just depressed. She and her daughter were making up lies. And they said my mother's daughter specialized in jumping people. And the police did it to me again on 2019. I would notice anytime I come to any neighborhood like this, and I always beg for money. As soon as my mother's daughter killed my mother in 2015, and I noticed I'll be getting jumped. They'll be sending me to the hospital, but jumping me everywhere, punching me everywhere, and then on Bay Ridge Avenue, on 4th Avenue, as I was begging for money, a guy came and slapped me in the back of my head. Then the police came and jumped me, boom, kicked me, beating me up, slammed me on the floor, and they locked me up in the mental ward. They did this to me on July 23rd, 2019. The number 23 is synonymous with Flora's son's birthday. The Flora's son, Ayinde Cheney Jr., was born on December 23rd. So they always choose dates that are synonymous with the birthday. They killed Eric Garner also on a day that is synonymous with my birthday. I was born on July 8th, and Eric Garner was killed July 17th. So I used to go to a Black American pastor's church, Bishop Jordan, before Eric Garner was killed, in Maine, and he used to preach that the number 8 is a spiritual number, and God always uses it to do great things. It's a day of success. Like you do, he said, but it's just number 8. He said, numbers like 17, God will add it up. 1 plus 7, it means 8 also. So they went and killed Eric Garner on July 8th, July 17th, a day synonymous with my birthday. I guess they wanted to be successful, because at that time they saw my court case was going to be successful. There was a pastor in Nigeria that already started, I used to go to a Nigerian church in Nigeria called Synagogue Church. So I was watching his TV, while I was living in America, I used to watch his program on YouTube. And I already sent him a letter to help me with money, but he didn't help me with money. Instead, he prophesied on his YouTube channel. He said, there's somebody, you are in a basement apartment, that sometimes when you get up in the morning, your head will hit the ceiling. I did tell him, I was in a basement apartment. He said, God is going to lift you up to a mansion. So you're going to be successful. Don't worry. God is going to help you. So based on that prophecy, I started filing lawsuit and stuff that, and I guess the police department was monitoring because I was under FBI surveillance. So they were monitoring me and stuff. So I would notice anytime I tried to hire a lawyer, the lawyer will reject the case after accepting the case. Lawyers like Scholar, there was this guy, John Scholar, he had accepted the case and he wouldn't show up in court. Even though I had promised to show up, it wouldn't show up in court. And I'll be getting followed by the police like this anywhere I go. And this Eric Garner, I explained to him that, look, I'm in a bind, I'm trying to sue the police department, and the police won't help me, and nobody wants to help me. So this Eric Garner said it was going to help me. And on July 17th, a day synonymous with my birthday, like that Bishop Jordan said, number 17 is like number 8. I'm born on July 8, and they killed him on July 17th. At the same place where I met Eric Garner. I said they beat him up also, used violence to jump him. And also, there was a Nigerian song that was recorded before Eric Garner was killed. It was talking about, the name of the artist is called Scales. It's called, what's the name of the song? Scales, Shake Body. And it was saying that they're trying to hold somebody for ransom because the person is young, rich, and handsome. So my mother's daughter was trying to lock me up again, especially when they found I was suing the police department. I was going to get money. So I guess the FBI was aware that they were trying to lock me up in the mental ward. But the only way they can do that is to first. But I guess my mother wasn't interested in doing that with them anymore. So they wanted to do that to my mother first, lock her up in the mental ward first. so they can have access to me to lock me up also and take over the money. So that Nigerian singer Scales recorded that song, you know, that song, Shake Body, saying that they're trying to take someone for ransom because the person is young, rich, and handsome. I was a boy then, now I'm a girl. You know, you know. So they're always doing their police work around me. They left me trapped so I can't go upstairs. Anytime I'm recording evidence against them and they will show up. And my mother was alleging the same thing. Their daughters were trying to kill her and me and take over the lawsuit money. And so, so the FBI is helping them. And also there's another thing, because when I was a child, my mother told me I look like Michael Jackson. So I used to post online that when I was a child, I looked like Michael Jackson. I used to send messages to Michael Jackson, record him songs on the cassette. And I said, but the United States Postal Service, any letter I sent to Michael Jackson, they would send it back to me, say wrong address. So I said, I still have that cassette I recorded for Michael Jackson, the song in Nigeria, that one day I'm going to go to Nigeria and get that song and sing it and become a famous artist. And all of a sudden, I also said when I also used to put there that, if I become an artist, I'm going to marry a billionaire. I said I told them if you're an artist and you marry a billionaire, it will make your music sell better. And I was just making up. I was just saying funny stuff, and I never really, thought that anybody would want to harm me and that my life would be in danger because of what I was saying. I was just saying all this stuff. I never thought I would be in danger. All of a sudden, I heard that Janet Jackson married a billionaire around that time also. Then around that time, I was kicked out of my home. I was in the basement apartment, and I was living in the subway. And this Janet Jackson would always come to the subway. She go on Jimmy Kimmel. Said she was she was traveling on the subway for a day, and she was really shocked that nobody recognized her. Said the subway system is very easy to get lost. Nobody will know who you are. So I guess she was just mimicking me that I was talented. I don't know if she listened to my song as a child, because somebody must have gone and stole that cassette, that I was talented. I was just stuck in the subway, and I believe they may want me all dead because I make a Michael Jackson movie out of me. Because they say in America, if you're gay, it's very unlikely you're going to be successful. Even Michael Jackson, he had to hide being gay. People allege he's really gay, but he even did a press conference after he was accused of molesting a child. He did a press conference saying that he's not an homosexual. They said even artists like George Michael also, they caught him in the bathroom, having sex with a male, but he always sang about women. They say in America you can't really succeed as a gay artist. You have to pretend to be straight. So I guess a lot of the record companies didn't want to sign me because I've already came out as gay. And I noticed they started signing Nigerian artists like Burna Boy, and even the song was very interesting because the song Burna Boy, my building was just burnt down where I hide evidence against the NYPD. At the time, the Kid Arigona, they just burned down my building on March 19. They burned down my building on March 19, 2014, and Kid Arigona, so weeks later, on July. And soon they'll sign up this Burna Boy into a record label, and he's been singing songs that seem to be about me. Like, he was singing a song called Angelina, if you need me, I'll come and deliver, because my mother said, pastors told her that I was an angel from heaven before I was born. I was both with as an angel. And also, my pastor in America, he doesn't know me personally, but he was saying the number 8 is a very spiritual number that's always important. Important things of God delivers it on the 8th. And things on the 8th, done on the 8th is usually very successful. So it's God's special number. I was born on July 8th. And I guess, that says, and that pastor always said number 8 is a very good day to do anything because it's a very anointed day for success. So I was born on July 8th, and he said not just number 8, but number 17 also. God regards as number 8 because God always has numbers. God doesn't like double digit. So, and the kid are born on July 17. So they were trying to successfully mess up my case. And before the Kid Oregano, I had a storage called American Storage. Near where the Kid Oregano, I had it on. It was in a place called Stapleton. The Kid Oregano in a place called what's that place called again? Stapleton also, I believe, where the Kid Oregano is like St. George, Stapleton area. So I had a storage there. And anytime I go to my storage, I would notice they'll put satanic stickers just in front of my storage door, American Storage, and they wouldn't put it anywhere else. I would always take the picture of the satanic sticker. They'll have demons with like 10 hands, 10 heads. At that time, I used to watch a lot of exorcism on TV. This TB Joshua, his church, they'll do exorcism all day long, play the video all day long. So I guess the FBI was watching me doing the exorcism, watching me watch the exorcism, and this TB Joshua telling me on his YouTube channel. I'd already sent him a letter, to, as a matter of fact, I sent a letter to his a pastor in his church that lives in Long Island. He's a Greek man, he lives in Long Island. I forgot his name, so I sent him a letter that please, if you can help me contact TB Joshua in Nigeria, that me and my mother are homeless, and the pastor invited me to Long Island. It was like, TB Joshua would help you, that, he helps even people that are living in Europe, homeless people in Europe, he sends them money. So but for some reason, when I sent that letter to that pastor, he told me I had already contacted TB Joshua. But I noticed when I went to the church in Long Island, that pastor didn't help me. He told me that Joshua said they're going to be praying for me. But he didn't help me with money. But that Joshua then did a video on YouTube that there's somebody out there, you are living in a basement apartment, that don't worry, God is the one that will help you. Then you're going to be living in the mansion soon. I'm praying for you. So don't worry, I'm praying for you. He didn't send me no money. Then later on, some years later, that TB Joshua said, that pastor, that Greek pastor in Long Island, that is dissociated with that pastor is falsely claiming to be a representative of the church. So that pastor is not a representative of the church. He's just a guy that visited Nigeria, and he prayed for the guy, and the guy went back to America and claiming he's a pastor. So I guess that TB Joshua didn't want to help me because of that, because I went to the wrong channel, But he could have just, got my information from that pastor and helped me directly. I guess they said he's a pastor, but he says very arrogant also. So I don't know why he didn't help me, because that Greek pastor said he had already contacted that TB Joshua, and he always helps people, but he didn't help me and my mother. And now my mother is dead, and I guess the NYPD and the FBI, they said they always collude to try to mess people up. They said, they were both watching what's this guy's name? Martin Luther King, before Martin Luther King was assassinated. Said that the FBI have always colluded. So with me, they believe they can just kill me, continue with the lies that I was crazy, and I used my craziness to kill my mother, that I'm crazy, I'm violent. So they're trying to incite violence anywhere I go. They've been inciting violence, try to get me angry. If they see I'm on my way to use the bathroom, they'll call the police, help me block from using the bathroom. I'm trying to block somebody from using the bathroom. It's an act of violence, because you're just trying to annoy the person. They said this is what they do in America, even in the prison culture. They jump people while using the bathroom. So, so they're denying me access to the bathroom. They're trying to force me to use the bathroom in the open and stuff. So this is very serious. And they believe they can just frame me up as a dirty person and, make money off of me, and kill me, So the FBI believes, and my mother's daughters will just continue, because they have a violent history. A white family went and picked them up from the foster home after they had abused that family, and went and picked them up. My mother urged that woman to go and pick the children up from foster home, because my mother was very worried that our children were already out of control, and if they get introduced to the foster system, they're going to learn more violence. And my dad, Flora, told me that after the white woman, a lady, came and picked them up back from the foster home, her name is Carl Anderson, while she was driving, they were punching her, pinning her, jumping her. What she was doing, the woman was serving, and almost killed people on the road. So my mother's daughter, Bonali and Flora, they specialize in jumping people. So the FBI was like, good, we're going to have you kill your No, mind your business. Don't be rude to me. Excuse you? Are you a police agent? Oh, get a life. Don't decide. I'm recording you. You're all going to be arrested. So she might be a police agent. She's always sitting there. And they always hire people to insult me. Anytime I'm trying to record evidence like this, you know. So they plan their all there on December 25 like this. It's Christmas Day. They'll try to get me depressed and stuff. Today's December 25, Christmas Day. They even hire a security guard that they'll be watching me, anything I do, any step I take, So they told them to be insulting me, try to get me depressed, So this is what I'm going through. So please donate to my Cash App. My Cash App is NYC Homeless. To me in person, so I can rent a hotel room and get this police and the FBI arrested. A lot of them are corrupt and they are involved in killing Eric Garner. They are involved in killing my mother with my mother's daughters. And even Nigerian musicians were singing about it. A year before my mother was killed, my mother was telling me that those are planned to, arrest her, frame her as crazy, kill her, and frame her as crazy, kill me, and take over the money. The loss of money me and my mother was filing for, and the police went ahead of them and framed Eric Garner as crazy, arrested them. A year before my mother's daughters framed my mother as crazy. So I don't know how long my mother's daughters have been working with the FBI, But my mother was saying that drugs were moving with like a strange gang in Pennsylvania, especially at Bolanley, and they were doing drugs together, the gang and my daughter. They say, I love this FBI agent. So today's Christmas Day, So they always attack me as a Christian. They locked the elevator. I would have gone outside. So, so they're rendering me incontinent and stuff, and they don't want me to record evidence as it's happening. So, and they have people jumping. My mother was specialized in jumping people while driving. This Carla Anderson, she was based in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. If she's still alive, she'll be able to attest to what I'm saying, So I solemnly swear under United States perjury laws and other relevant laws that I'm seeking non-conditional charitable financial donation to my Cash App NYC Homeless or to me in person. I'm not looking for surrogacy. I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not looking for membership in any cult, whether religious or any other cult, sexual cult or gang. And I'm not looking for marriage, and I'm not looking for surrogacy. So even though today's Christmas, I'm not sending a message as part of any cult membership or whatever, So please, I'm just seeking non-conditional charitable financial donation to my Cash App NYC Homeless or to me in person. So please do not associate me with any cult or whatever. So I'm not looking for anyone to have a child for me. Sometimes, people will try to. Excuse you? Why are you the one that pushed my stuff down? You will be arrested if you're committing act. I'm sorry? Why are you the one that pushed my stuff down? Because I fixed my stuff properly. You're not supposed to do that, whoever you are. What? You push my stuff down?
I don't care.
No, you have no right to do that. You're going to be arrested. Okay, you have no right to be touching my stuff.
No, leave me alone.
Okay, you have no right to be touching my stuff.
Stay away from
Okay, you're going to be arrested wherever you hired you. So they're telling people to be inciting violence against me. She pushed all my stuff down. So they always want to arrest me and kill me. She may be an FBI agent. I've been noticing my mother's daughters always follow me around. So they try to incite violence against me. So my life is in danger. So please, Lord, help me. This America, they're on a genocide mission. Please donate to my Cash App NYC Homeless. They're hiring strangers to attack me. Everywhere I go in the bathroom, beating me up. And they always choose dates like this. Dates that have significance. Maybe a day that is significant with my mother's daughter's birthday. They attacked me on November 14, 2025. Bolanley's birthday is August 14. Or days like Christmas. Or days like my mother's daughter's son's birthday. Flora's son's birthday. Ayinde Cheney Jr. He looks like Michael Jackson also. I believe they're trying to kill me and do a Michael Jackson movie. And they're working with their prosecutors to mess up any case in case I'm get killed. To make it look like we killed this person for the benefit of America. And also, I guess they may want to kill me on Christmas Day like this and claim that, and I heard they also bombed TB Joshua Church. Well, because he told me I was going to be successful in anything I do. And after that, I sued the NYPD. And he said in 2014, after they killed Eric Garner in July, a Russian military said they saw an American military plane leave Germany air base, and that German air base was created to be able to attack America, for America to attack Russia when they need to. So the Russians are always monitoring the German air base, the American air base in Germany. And so they saw an American military airplane leave Germany, and the Russians thought it was coming to Germany. So the Russian military plane was watching this plane, following it, escorting, and they saw it went to Nigeria instead. And TB just saw an odd-looking plane appear on top of the sky of the church, and was hovering around the church, and blew up his church. And the part of the church where Nigerians and other Africans were staying in was the only part blown up. The part where the Americans were, there was a lot of white Americans in that church in that November 2014. They said they didn't blow up that part of the church. So they said America has specialized planes like that they can use up to blow up a special part of the building. Even Trump admitted that they went to Iran and nuked the underground facility, just the underground facility where they believe Iran had nuclear weapons. They didn't blow up any other place. So they say America has special bombs like that. So they may want to kill me on this date, December 25, 2025. And to make it look like I'm a Christian terrorist, I'm always suing the police, and they believe I may be doing it for religious purposes and just causing trouble. They may try to frame it that I believe I'm Jesus and I'm trying to save the world by suing their police. And that's why they killed me. So they said they specialize in framing people up. So I don't know, why they hire people to be pushing my stuff and always incite violence all day long. So they believe my mother's daughters would testify that I'm crazy, I'm always fighting everybody, and they can just kill me and just claim, I was attacking a woman, I like to attack women, I like to attack everybody. So please, they're framing people up in America, so please don't to my Cash App NYC Homeless. The FBI and the NYPD are colluding. Even the U.S. Senator Kelly said they are aware that this Trump also allegedly is trying to use the law enforcement to kill civilians. I criticize America. I criticize this Trump a lot. I used to go to his hotel to gamble in 2011, and they wouldn't pay me the money they owe me, and they used the police to kick me out of his hotel. I've been trying to sue him now. He's become president, and I heard this Senator Kelly said they were aware. He did that to a number of people, and with his casino, he would owe them gambling money and wouldn't pay them. Now that he's become president, and then Trump tried to run me over with his car as soon as I was going to go killed. Somebody lured me to go in front of his house around 2014, said they're giving out Christmas present in front of his house. As soon as I got there, 5 minutes later, he came with his car and tried to hit me with his car. So they're always using all kind of destabilization method. They said this Trump also is friends with the FBI, and they always give him a heads up. So if you're friends with the FBI, like my mother's daughter, you consider you an asset, and they'll work with you, help you go against your enemy. So as the FBI is trying to hurt me, this Trump also is telling America that he wants to get rid of foreigners. So they said that the FBI, the rogue FBI, work with civilians as assets and use them. They all join together to attack civilians. So the U.S. Congress has to investigate this. Please donate to my Cash App NYC Homeless or to me in person. They want to render me incontinent. And they believe they can kill me and make money and claim I'm crazy. I'm just causing trouble everywhere. And harass me. So they always try to set me up like this, to make me even hard for me to leave. They'll tell me to leave, and they push my stuff down on the floor. Sometimes they push it down on the train track. So they are Me Too. Also, they're hiring Europeans. I was some days ago. It may have been Friday. I think Friday is 22nd. No, what day was it? Oh, today is, today's 25. I think today's Thursday. Wednesday was 24. I believe 23rd. Around 23rd of December, I was using the bathroom, and they told me I have to leave the bathroom 20 minutes early. That they want to shut down the bathroom 20 minutes early. As soon as I came outside of the Fulton Street station by Fulton and Broadway, this European lady came and bent down like this towards me with her butt. As she was trying to touch me, I said, "Don't touch me with your butt." He's like, "Why?" I said, "That's nasty." He said, "You are nasty. You are nasty." And the husband was also joining. So they're hiring Europeans to jump me, and they were like a family. They had a child with them, and the camera would pick it up. It was around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. They had kicked me out of the bathroom early. They're supposed to close the bathroom at 12 p.m. and they kicked me out of the bathroom at 11:30 a.m. as soon as I got in. So they were closing the bathroom 30 minutes early or so. And so I came out of Fulton and Broadway, and and I was figuring, all right, don't push my back again. All right, stop being violent, okay? You will be arrested, Okay, you will be arrested. I'm recording you.
Yeah.
You will be arrested. Okay? You have no right.
You'll be arrested.
Okay, you have no right to bother me.
Stop.
Okay, you're gonna. That's a job to get me arrested.
For many hours.
Excuse you. All right, stay away from me.
Stop talking.
Stay away from me.
Stop.
No, you have. I'm recording evidence to show in court.
Stop.
You have no right.
Stop talking.
I have the right to talk.
No, you are talking for hours.
So what? So go mind your business. Stop coming near me.
No, get out of here.
All right. Don't come near me. All
I'm
right.
not scared from you.
Okay, very good. You're going to be arrested wherever you work for. Okay. For threatening violence, so they're terrorizing me, my mother's daughters, the FBI, and they'll start a fight with you, and the police can come and arrest you. So they even on November 14th, the police beat me, and they told me to appear in court. As I was trying to get to court, somebody broke my tires. I was stuck, and I heard when you go to court, the court is a community court. The judge there will frame you as crazy and say they're ordering to mental health facility. So this Eric Adam said he wants all the homeless locked up. So you have this Trump, this Eric Adam, a Black American mayor, and my mother's daughters, and all their agents like this, attacking me everywhere. They don't let me speak with lawyers. All the lawyers in America say they don't want my case, and and they always start violence with me. So America is not safe. FIFA, you have to help me. Please, the Republic of Congo Football Association, I've contacted the Nigerian embassy, they won't help me either. And I heard the FIFA wants to kick you out of the World Cup to help Nigeria qualify. So there's something going on between the Nigerian and American government. I've contacted the Nigerian embassy and they don't help me. And FIFA has been rewarding Nigeria. They say even Nigeria wasn't supposed to qualify for the playoffs. It was Benin instead. But the Nigerian, so all of a sudden the FIFA said they changed the rules that one other country withdrew or was suspended. So the Nigeria would qualify ahead of Benin. So I heard that Nigeria's trying to report to Congo that you're not following the rules. Nigeria also, the FIFA has been helping them to break the rules and qualify ahead of everybody else. And I've been contacting FIFA, can they investigate what's going on? They don't let people like me use the bathroom. They're using violence against me. My mother, before she died, she said they was robbing and they robbed her passport. They stole my green card and passport also. Another African that was homeless like me is from Senegal. They stole his passport and green card also. And FIFA wouldn't help me. Instead, FIFA gave Trump an award for promoting peace in the world. So it's like the FIFA wants me killed. Even though the FIFA used to sanction countries that engage in violence against foreigners, especially the British Football Association. They say the British soccer friends sometimes will attack foreigners. They will attack foreigners, for coming when England is playing foreign countries, and the FIFA will ban England from hosting World Cup. So as I was talking around 2022 when the France World Cup was going on, I was telling people to please help me. My mother's been killed and they're trying to kill me here. So I have a British ancestry. From my father's side, one of my last names is McCarthy from my father's side. So as I was talking that please help me have British ancestry. All of a sudden, the United States was playing England and France 2022 World Cup, and the British players knelt down like this. To troll the Americans. And the British government wouldn't help me. They have a lot of millionaire players. I always send messages to some of their players. They have Nigerian ancestry. I think one guy's name is Saki or something. I always send messages to them if I feel, they could help me or whatever. Or if they make some overture online or whatever. And they don't help me. So I don't know what is going on. Whereby, nobody wants to help me when America's involved. And this FIFA, I contact the president. I contact them all the time. That I'm being jumped. Can they tell the Americans to stop jumping me? I said, especially since I'm been telling the whole world that America may not be safe for this World Cup because they're not helping victims of crime. People like my mother's daughter are able to beat up somebody while the person was driving, and the person took them back to foster care. And now they jump. My mother are jumping me. My mother said they specialize in jumping people, and the other guy is helping them. I said that's not safe when you have people that are attacking foreigners. Some of them they have Nigerian ancestry, like my mother's daughters, but because they have a U.S. passport and they're attacking foreigners like me, the FBI joins with them, colludes with them, and they're stealing. Because one document even said the Black American rapper called Nas, he was saying he used to steal green cards from foreigners, and now it's worth almost $1 billion. The FBI's not arresting him. So you steal someone's green card, they can arrest you because the statute of limitations is extended. It's called forced imprisonment. Because when you take somebody's green card, the person can't travel freely. And so many people have been singing songs about the way my mother was killed. There's this guy in Nigeria. His name is what's his name again? He sang the song Shake Body. His name is Scales. And around the time before my mother was killed, my mother was her daughters were planning to abduct her. And he sang that song. saying they want to hold somebody for ransom because the person's young, rich, and handsome. The guy was singing using a personal pronoun, but apparently it wasn't him. It was me and my mother. It was singing about, and that was the method my mother's daughter used to kill my mother. Framed her as crazy and held her up. And a year before they killed her, the FBI must have heard about it because people in Nigeria were already aware singing it as a song. And the FBI went and the police went and arrested Eric Garner. And they're framing him up as crazy, and the police was laughing. And I guess they were just doing a dress rehearsal for my mother's daughters to see if it's going to be successful. We can kill somebody by framing them up as crazy and holding them up mental lockup. And so this is how they got Eric Garner. They framed him up as crazy and killed him right where I met Eric Garner. As soon as I met him on Bay Street and Victory Boulevard on Staten Island, and they killed him on a day synonymous with my birthday. My birthday is July 8th, but a Black American pastor used to go to his church around that time. Bishop Jordan said number 17 is also considered 8, and God always had numbers together. That God doesn't believe in double-digit numbers, and God had 1 + 7 to arrive at 8. So this is what is going on, and there's this guy. His name is Tramel Thompson, and he's also been, before I was arrested at his name is Tramel Thompson. He's wearing the color orange. It's an MTA worker, but he's also a union boss. And he's been saying, saying some of the passengers may be killed, that some little kids are troubling passengers and they may kill passengers soon. And they have little kids that trouble me. And it's always, before I got arrested at the Chambers Street bathroom, I believe he was aware, because he was saying stay out the buildings, and he did a fire alarm sign. Because down the street from where I was arrested at Chambers Street bathroom on November 14, 2025, last month, down the street there's a Target store there. I normally shop in that Target. This is the emblem of the store. I normally shop in the Target store. And I go there around 10 p.m. They close at 11. And I go there to use the bathroom because the bathroom is always vacant around closing time. And when I was using the bathroom, they left the fire alarm on. And they brought the fire department and everything. So I ran out the bathroom. I was like, what is going on? They said they were doing a dress rehearsal. I'm like, why wait till I'm using the bathroom before you bring the fire service? And since then, people have been telling me, we're going to frame you up as crazy, as using drugs in the bathroom and have you killed. So I also go down the street from Broadway. I think that area is called West Broadway and Chambers. That's where I arrested him in the bathroom last month. But by West Broadway and Murray Street, that's where the Target store is. So I noticed, they called the fire ambulance and everything while I was using the bathroom there. So this Tramel Thompson is an MTA worker, also a union boss. He always comes around me. Each time I ask him to help me, tell me to send him an email. And when I send him an email, he wouldn't respond. And then he started saying he has so much messages in his archive, he doesn't look at the messages. He said, this is, he has so many things saved in his archive, he doesn't even bother checking. So, and I send messages to all these politicians, so they don't respond. So I guess they're all waiting for me to be killed, and it's sending a hint, and they're all going to claim, we never bothered to check the message from this person. Now that this person is dead, we're interested. So they've been calling me Jesus on the street, said they just want me to be killed so that they can then use me as an excuse to win civil rights for Black Americans. So I contact people like Jumaane Williams. Anytime I contact him, so please help me. Is the public advocate, and is supposed to investigate police brutality and stuff. Anytime I contact him, he would do, he would just post the message number 2 sign. So and the guy took me home one day, said I have to marry him. I have to marry the guy that took me home. So it's for me to get assistance. He said that's how it's worked, nothing is free in America. And the guy started raping me in the Bronx. In 2020, I called the police would help me. And the guy threatened me. Said if I dare escape from his house, he's going to get the police to kill me later. He said he works with the police also. And I called the police on him, and they saw the blood on my face. And they didn't arrest me, they just threw me out on the street. And since then, they've been jumping me with my mother's daughter's gang, FBI gang, Me Too gang. I believe she works for the Me Too also, because my mother said she also claimed while she was living in America in the 1990s, somebody sexually assaulted her. They say a lot of women like that are not part of the Me Too, and they also work for the FBI. So they're trying to frame me up as that I may have been responsible for my mother's killing, that my immigration case makes me crazy, and my craziness is killing people because I'm stressing people out. Even before I was arrested last month. You know, somebody came into the bathroom at that Chambers Street bathroom and was saying, son of a bitch. I'm like, excuse me? Was saying, motherfucker, you smell. I was like, excuse me, my mother is dead. Don't insult my mother. Say, yeah, you probably killed, she probably died trying to escape you. You know? So they're having that Me Too gang insult me in the bathroom. Anytime I go to use that bathroom on Chambers Street, their Me Too will carry my back to the train track. You know, so the FBI, and when I call the police will shake their head. So I was trying to get that Me Too Gloria already arrested. I contacted her also. She's the leader of the Me Too. She's a lawyer. So I told her, look, the police kicked me out of my home on Staten Island. They searched me naked, and I was trying to sue them for sexual harassment. And they went and killed my friend Oregano. And that Gloria Ore, she told me she can't help me. She doesn't want to go against the police because she goes against them. They wouldn't help her. They and FBI wouldn't help her with Weinstein and R. Kelly's case. You know, so she admitted to bribing the police by not helping me, and so that they can help her arrest R. Kelly and Weinstein. You know, so I was the sacrifice. Everybody, people have been making fun of me. I used to sacrifice for everybody to munch on. You know, even this lady that called herself Niger, she says she's half Nigerian. Spice, her name is Ice Spice or whatever. Ice, and the name Ice, everybody knows it connotes immigration. She sang a song, You're Just a Munch. You thought I was feeling you? Yeah, you're just a munch. With my body, I can get anybody I want. You know? So people would take me home and tell me I have to marry them for them to help me, and they'll beat me and rape me. You know, and these people don't even like me. They'll just rape me and beat me up and, you know, harass me. I guess that's what that Ice Spice was singing about. You thought I was feeling you? You're just a munch. With my body, I can get anybody I want. Like, you know. So there was this guy, he had a large body, he had a large member, you know, and he took me home, his penis and whatever, and was raping me, and I was streaming like I was an animal. He told me his family's from Haiti, but was born in America, you know, and so you look at her licking her lips and stuff, and they have all these women that try to lure me, you know. I said, I'm gay also, I'm not a woman. And some of them think it doesn't matter. We can I guess they're trying to engage in oral sex with me and stuff and troll me. So, you know, and it's against the law to try to force somebody to be straight or engage in. You know, so they troll me everywhere I go. And the Hollywood and the hip-hop industry. I'm trying to get the song Munch. Apparently it's so hard to Google search the song.
You thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Nigga either he ate it for lunch. Bitch, I'm a baddie, I get what I want. Like, you thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Nigga,
you know, so they said the word Nigeria comes from the word nigger. They said the British, you know, use the Spanish word for black called negro to form Nigeria. And even it's Eric Adam. When Trump said they should cancel his case, he needs it for special immigration work. So I told the judge, I think the judge name is Delo. I said, you know, they said all the federal prosecutors resigned. They said it seems like an illegal collusion, that they don't know what kind of special immigration work this Trump is hiring Eric Adam for, that he wants them to dismiss the criminal charges against him that was getting bribed by a foreign government. To, you know, that he approved a fire hazard building the Turkish embassy built that could cause fire. Because they bribed them, the Turkish government bribed them. And apparently, and this Trump also admitted that there are some people in America receiving benefit and doesn't want them to receive benefit. We want them to have a taste of medicine. So this is how my mother's was killed, framed as crazy, you know, and pretend like they were just trying to get my mother's benefit. So the same way they killed my mother, this Trump and Eric Adam wants to have me killed like that. And this Eric Adam has been telling the police in New York, because the police listens to the mayor, they're under city mayor control. They're not under Trump's control. So Trump can't really direct the police directly. So so there's an illegal collusion going on whereby Trump, you know, pardoned this Eric Adam unofficially, told the court to dismiss the case, so they won't even convict him, you know, and all the prosecutors resigned as it's a legal collusion. And then he said he needs Eric Adam for special immigration work. And apparently the police always try to arrest me and all the other homeless every day and locked me up in the psych ward. Last month they came and hit my head on the wall while I was using the bathroom, lied against me that I was crazy, I stole something, I didn't steal anything. And I told them I want a police report because they searched me, didn't find anything. And I said, no, we'll lock you up in the psych ward instead. We're not giving you no police report. And they hit my head on the wall. And then, and this Trump said that's what he wants. He wants certain people to be deported to psych ward. And there they can beat you and kill you. So this Eric Adams is Trump's deportation officer. Because someone like me, they may feel it may be hard to deport me to the immigration system because the judge may hear my story and see they've been abusing me for 25 years. When my mother brought me here, I was the only one arrested. So they feel it may be very hard. And it may not, even though they may still be able to deport me legally, but it will make them look bad. So why not just call me crazy and frame me up as a dirty, crazy person? So don't let me use the bathroom. And apparently Nike also is putting ads out there, say just do it. And there's this Black American guy, it's very hard for me to remember all their names. He's a basketball player. I can't remember his name. He's born in California, but he now plays for a team that a Nigerian Greek basketball player plays for, Adetokunbo. So there was a time I was joined by a bunch of females around 2022. Around December 2021, as soon as Eric Adams won the mayorship, I was going to start office in January of 2022. And December 2022, I was talking on the phone. All of a sudden, some Black American females started kicking me. I called 911 near the Net Stadium, basketball stadium, Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Stadium. So I ran into a store. Then the kids came over and was smashing the window of the store. So the store owner called 911. They're trying to beat up an African in the store, and I called 911 also. And the police came, and the police, the guy told the police he needs a police report. The police did like these things. I said, no, please give the guy a police report. I need a police report also. And the police told me, you get out of here. Told the kids to get out of here. We're not giving a police report. So apparently they've been trying to kill me and hide it from the official records. Anytime I asked for a police report, they wouldn't give it to me. Like November when they came to arrest me, and they said somebody called them, said I stole something. I said, and they searched my bag, they didn't find nothing in the bathroom. And I told them I need a police report. I said, no, we'll lock you up in the psych ward instead. So anytime I asked for a police report, they wouldn't give it to me. So that December 2021, as I was talking on the phone, on the payphone, some Black American females came to kick me, beat me. And I know they were kicking me. My mother said, Bolani likes to kick people. She learned it in school in the Bronx, and she used to kick people in the school. And that the school had to suspend her for fighting and stuff like that. And so they hired these black girls to be kicking me. So I called 911. I told them these Black American girls are kicking me. And the kids told me they're not Black Americans. They are from Trinidad. But they had an American accent. So I wonder why. So I was wondering why the kids corrected me. So apparently they wanted me to know they were first generation Americans like my mother's daughter. And somebody hired them just to thwart me. So apparently there was this basketball player. He was born in California. He's also a rapper. He plays in the same team as Adetokunbo. Then I was following his account because at that time he was trolling me, say he sells shoes for Nike and he believes in charity. So I contacted him. At that time I didn't have a good shoe to wear, and he wouldn't answer me back. He used to appear on a podcast by another Black American, Wallo. So this basketball player was trolling me after I got kicked by all these Black American females who call themselves Trinidadian Americans. And this I used to use a VPN because my mother's daughters, they were hacking into my account, steal all my stuff since 2011. They have, when I'm talking with them, they've just hacked into my email, steal all my stuff. So I was getting hacked by hackers. I contacted Yahoo to help me. And my mother's daughter's husband, Flora's husband, Ayinde, sent me an invite with a naked picture. And I was like, why is he sending me a naked picture? So I clicked accept, and all my emails got wiped out. So I called Yahoo to arrest him. I said, he's a U.S. soldier. I don't even know if he's based in America. He sent me an invite as I was talking to my mother's daughter, with a naked picture. I was like, why is he sending me a naked picture? So I said, my mother said it was I put a tracker on her as she was fleeing Pennsylvania to come to a hospital in New York because she didn't want to go to a hospital in Pennsylvania because her daughter specialized in framing people up as crazy. Did that to me. And that was the reason why my mother said she wanted to do a surgery outside of America because she didn't want Adoras to find out, because she said Adoras were always able to follow her around, and she didn't understand how they were able to find her. They always find her anywhere she is. So they put a tracker in my mother's bag, and they were able to find her. So my mother was like, just for safety reasons, she would like to go do a surgery in Israel, hoping that before they can get abroad, the surgery would have been completed, and they wouldn't know where she is, So my mother told the hospital that, she doesn't want to get a surgery done in America. She wants to travel abroad. And the hospital still locked her up. And Adora said they should just lock her up. And so there's this Black American basketball player. He works for Nike. And he was pretending to be a humanitarian, so he likes to give people stuff, and he's a rich millionaire. So I started following his account. Huh? No, I'm talking on the phone right now. So I started following his account, and he started trolling me. Then some Black American, Trinidad American was kicking me, chasing me in front of cars. I was just talking on the phone, and I noticed back then also, anytime I call a lawyer to say that my mother's daughter just killed my mother, I need a lawyer, some Black Americans would jump me. So I used to go hide in a place called Washington Park on 125th Street. Because if I try to call a lawyer for my storage space called Extra Space Storage, some Black Americans will come into the storage to jump me. So I'll go into the park near the Extra Space Storage in Harlem near 125th Street. So I was talking on the phone with a lawyer. Some Black American kids and hit me with like a metal pole from behind. Hit me there to punch me. So when I got up on my feet, I fell down. So I started recording with my phone, and all the kids ran away except one kid. And it was a fat kid that looked like Eric Garner. So I was like, why did you do that? I said, he didn't do it. It was his friends that did it. So I called 911. And they didn't arrest them. One of the kids went behind. I have the video in my Google Drive still. They stole a lot of my phones since then. But I was able to save that video in my Google Drive. And the kid told me he didn't do it. It was his friends that did it. So he told me the name of the school. And the kid looked like Eric Garner. So I was like, why would you be hitting a stranger like me for fun? And he went up behind. So when I called 911, I told them, look, I always get beat up anytime I'm talking on the phone. And if the police told me, this is a dangerous park, you shouldn't come here. It's dangerous in the daytime. I was like, afternoon time, it's like, I just got up school, like 2 p.m. They say, no, it's your fault, you shouldn't be in the park. It's called the Morningside Park. So this park is reserved for criminals. I said, can you go to the kids' school? I have the video. There was a police camera that recorded. They said, no. And the police abandoned me. I think I did a report and abandoned me. That was around, my mother had just been killed then. It was after 2015, between 2015 and 2019. Not more like 2017. So I'm experiencing a lot of stuff like this, whereby, I can't get justice. And this FBI, they're trolling me. And they said that they specialize in harassing people, freeing people up, hiring so-called crazy people. Like the Martin Luther King family said, they hired a supposed crazy to kill Martin Luther King and made it look like they didn't have any connection to that crazy person. And the Martin Luther King family said they were able to sue and find out the FBI allegedly hired that crazy person. So they're using us foreigners as test dummies for police brutality. Even this Trump admitted that he's going to send his soldiers throughout America, and they're going to be using the minorities as experiments for war. To learn how to run in all kind of experiment. So as my mother was saying, I was about to kill her, kidnap her. In 2014, this guy released a song. And the song was released in July 22, 2014. The police killed my friend Arigona, held them for ransom, kidnapping also on a mental hold while he was selling cigarette. And Arigona was like powerful, like they don't really arrest people, put people on a mental hold for selling cigarette. They're supposed to give you a ticket. So around that time, another Black American had just been killed somewhere in Maryland. They put him on the back of a bus, of a police car, was driving rough. So every black person was afraid of going in a police car, like that. So this guy sang a song around that 2014. The kid Arigona July 17, 2014, and and this guy released the song July 22. So he must have recorded this song before that. And that song was talking about holding people for ransom. It was released in Nigeria. And my mother was saying that those were trying to do that. Hold me and her for ransom and kill us and take over the money.
Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm.
Ring along.
Oh yeah, shake body. Them girls just they feel me now. Cause I get some money, then they feel me now. Back then they do me anyhow. I don't get some money, they wanna get down. They want hold me for ransom. Cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. They want know where I come from. I they run to some
So we're singing that song, they want to hold him for ransom because it's young Richard Hanson. He was using his personal pronoun, but the people talk, Nando, like they were referring about somebody else, and it looked like it's them, so it's a figure of speech, Nando, they use it in America, and I've been using that kind of figure of speech. But another musician, also sang, I used my mother's daughter's name, in his own song, to show that a lot of them were aware in Nigeria, So I'm trying to find that other musician, Nigerian musician. I think the song is Finesse. Even mention my mother's daughter's name, Falale. Her middle name is Falake. My mother said she was supposed to complain of being broke, she was on drugs, and she went to use my mother as an ATM machine. By framing her as crazy so that she could be taking care of her and getting paid as a home day.
Mi amor,
Hey, stop getting close to me. Can you get away from me? I'm busy. Can you stop harassing me? I can't read, So anytime I'm recording, I don't know if they're undercover agent, they'll be distracting me. That's all again.
See many people there outside where they feed man so cool. Oh no, I mean I stand the defender like Joseph Yobo. My girl say she want Netflix and chill, so I chat to get in my money. If you fall in love, girl, it's at you. Get you job breakfast and don't have to. Now you see me all I want that shit. I'm not looking for this because you see these weekends I'm in that shit. You must have I just want it.
So it's very interesting. He has glasses like that one. I always like to wear glasses like that, spider glasses like that. I think Notorious B.I.G. made it popular. So this song was referring to me and my family. It's very interesting,
If I broke down my business, I'ma show you right. All I care for the night.
So that's my mother's daughter's name, Falake. In Nigeria, we used to live in a place called Agege. Saying gay. And one of my mother's daughters used to call me gay, Flora. They both hate gays, She was saying gay, I was saying Finesse, but Falake, that's my mother's daughter's name, Falake. And another musician, and he released this 2022, so it's much later than 2014. Another one calls himself Stanley E now, because some people were making overtures like that to me online, and they were talking about me, and when I contact them to help me, they wouldn't help me. So this one called himself Stanley E now. So they would just delay me, won't help me. They were singing about, things that happened to my mother and me. And when I contact them, that can you please help me, they wouldn't help me. So this one called himself E now. And the name of the song is Take Over. My mother was saying adults were trying to kill me and my mother, so they can take over my state. They were just like me, a gay person from Nigeria, could make money, become a billionaire before them. And and this guy is a Cameroonian, but he lives in New York City, but he went to Nigeria to record a song in front of a Nigerian church. So before my mother died, she went to Nigeria and gave the Pastor Joshua an alarm clock that always says hallelujah. So, and it's very interesting. At the beginning of the video, they put the word Swiss there. Swiss X. So I guess the X will refer to me, they call gay, like the gay anus X or whatever. Swiss. So there's this, so I heard in Switzerland, if you claim somebody's crazy and depressed, they allow medically assisted suicide. So this FBI is trying to frame me up as crazy and depressed. and give guardianship of me through the court to my mother's daughter so they can take me to Switzerland and kill me and get the money and share it with the FBI. She always walks around with some FBI, male and female FBI agents, I suppose, So this is also, the FBI wants to start using black Americans and Nigerians that are born here to kill other Nigerians. So this is crazy. Your Congress have to investigate this, and this Eric Adams is a black American mayor. This is some black Americans, 8 Africans, say we sold their ancestors into slavery. And also our chefs, I contacted him, it wouldn't help me. And he's been making fun of me also. Says some of you want to get justice, but you don't know how to run the civil rights game. You got to learn how to run the civil rights game. I said, all of you that want justice, you should come and march with him in front of Wall Street on October 8th, 2025. So I'm going to teach you the civil rights game. And Wall Street is near the Staten Island Ferry. My mother used to sit around there. And they always bother me. They call the police on me when I try to use the bathroom there. And also, I heard Eric Adams increase the paycheck of the managers that give them extra $1 million a year. I wonder, what kind of job are they doing in the ferry that warrants the manager earning $1 million a year? And anytime I go there, even they have a black American woman that will be singing songs like that, scales, ring alarm. They want to hold me for ransom, and she'll be singing that song. She's an African woman. While I'm using the bathroom, she'll be saying hallelujah. They'll be making fun of my Christianity on Christmas Day. They'll be making fun of me. So it's a collusion between FBI agents, rogue FBI agent, my mother's daughter, and some black Americans that don't like Africans, and they believe killing an African like me, they can and she's using white, green, and white. Yeah. So he's singing that song, Take Over. My mother was saying, was trying to kill me and now take over our estate. I was wearing white, green, and white, which is Nigerian colors, and he had a taxi. My mother said her daughter Bolale was driving an Uber, and apparently she couldn't get enough money driving Uber. She quit her job. She had a college degree. She quit her job. She said, people were bothering her. Apparently she was on drugs, and she was very paranoid that people were after her. So she was driving a Uber. I said some people were still making fun of her that she smells or whatever. So she was, I guess, so my mother said she couldn't work. She doesn't want to work, so she was needed money, and she wanted to kill my mother, frame her as crazy. Because that's her specialization. She tried to frame her as crazy also in 2001. And she was trying to get the police to kill me because around that time also Diallo was just killed in 1999. And she always tells me about that Diallo case, that in America the police are dangerous, they can easily kill a black person, and she always talks about it. And I told her sometimes I dream it comes to pass, and she was like, if I ever dream and see lottery number, I should give her the number that she plays the lottery also. So she was always so thin, and I was always wondering, because as a child she wasn't that thin. But when I met her in 2001, after I didn't see her for since 1989, she was very thin. So my mother didn't even know she was on drugs, and she was like, in America people like to diet. She was so thin, and she's still very thin apparently, and on drugs and stuff. So they say the FBI uses people like that to, use criminals. So once they start using them as assets, they use them to frame other people up and stuff. So this was going on. So I'm getting trolled and all. So he was singing this, Stanley E now. He was singing about Take Over, and he put a Swiss, the word Swiss, green, white, green, taxi, my mother's daughter, alien, the alien visuals, that's Nigeria. He went to Nigeria to record in New York City. It's from Cameroon. Why is he going to Nigeria to record a video? So it's talking about me and my mother. We're from Nigeria. I put alien visuals. So the FBI is treating us aliens as just Guantanamo Bay torture dummies to torture and torture. To torture and torture and torture. No, I don't have a lighter for you. They always ask me for fire, lighter, and stuff. They always tell me I'm going to be arrested. All my stuff is going to be burned. All my evidence. All my... That's Nigeria church. Like he's singing about my mother coming from New York, from Nigeria to New York. Last Supper. Mm-hmm. My mother said the meal that Dross gave her, as soon as she ate that meal, that food may have been laced with counterfeit poison. It was mentioned Last Supper. My mother was saying the food that Doris gave her, that bolani, may have been laced with counterfeit poison or some poison. So as soon as she ate that food, she was having heart problem. She was having bloody diarrhea. And so my mother fled to New York in case her Doris had poisoned her, and to get her locked up in the hospital for a long time and call her crazy also. so that they can just, kill her in the hospital and take over the lawsuit money me and my mother was suing for. So that's why she fled to New York, and apparently the trick didn't work because I'd rather put like a tracker in her bag and wait able to find her. So I'm getting jumped everywhere. So please, the Department of Republic of Congo, please, then I said Nigeria and FIFA are trying to kick you out of the World Cup to say you're not following the rules. FIFA is not following the rules also. They're supposed to investigate what is happening to me, where foreigners are getting killed by the FBI. And at the time I was criticizing the American government, the British president knelt down during the 2022 World Cup as they were playing the American team. And then they changed the rules that I shouldn't have stroller on the subway, that they don't want stroller. And I used to carry my stuff on carts, and the police broke my leg when they arrested me in 2014 and November 14, 2025. It is synonymous with my mother's daughter's birthday. So they're trying to build evidence to claim like we didn't try to kill this person. That's why we choose number 14. We're just trying to get this person mental help. Like the daughters were trying to get the mother mental help, and the mother got killed. We were trying to get Regana mental help, and Regana got killed, and something's just happening. Anytime we try to get these people mental help, they die. It's not our fault. It's an accident. It's always an accident in America. But they say fire doesn't. They say where there's smoke, there's fire, and thunder doesn't strike twice. So they tend to be playing the same foolery and getting away with it. So the FBI, they said when they killed Regana, the police officer were laughing. So this is the police going rogue in America, the FBI going rogue in America, and believe they can kill any foreigner and claim the person needs mental help. And they have people to start fights with me, throw my stuff on the floor, so that to help their frame up. That most fighting everybody. Everybody's always calling police. The MTA worker, so there's a fight. Every time there's a fight, it's me. It's always me. So my mother's daughters can then come to court. Since the immigration arrested me, I've been a fighter everywhere. Fighting. So this was, So it's wearing like a white, and they will continue to throw me non-stop. So this may be their rogue agent. They say they're hiring criminals. The FBI and their police. So it's even in prison, when they take you to prison, they'll beat you up. In the mental facility also, they want to lock on the mental facility. It's like it's smoking. I can smell smoke. You say in the mental facility, they can hire someone like that to beat you up. So this is an assassination attempt. And the FIFA is not helping investigate. Instead, they want to throw Congo out. Say Congo is not following the rules. When you FIFA say wherever there's racism, you won't take the World Cup there. So why are you giving America a special pass? And the Nigerian government has not been helping me. They've stolen my passport to buy everything. The Nigerian government said they're going to give me a new passport. They're going to help me money. They haven't helped me now. When I was locked up in the mental ward wrongfully, on a day synonymous with my mother's daughter's son's birthday, 23rd of July. So they always choose dates. I guess they're trying to build up a defense and send the code to the prosecutors to mess up any case, the government lawyers, just let them know, we did it on purpose to help America, whatever, and rob these immigrants of their money. So they can call you crazy like that, and they can sue you, say you're a troublemaker, you're always tearing up the whole subway system. They don't let me use the bathroom, try to get me to soil my pants, and I'm tired of being held for ransom. I need to speak up. I know even speaking out, they may claim, I'm the troublemaker, I'm lying on these people, whatever lies they want to say. As you can see the video, they may even deny it in court. Say no, and they may say I created this video fake. It's not fake. Today is December 25, 2000. And let me zoom in at the date again. You can see the date is December 25. So Christmas day like this, they always attack me non-stop. I'm a Christian, so this is the day to attack me. So you can see, I'm at the 86th Street train station, the R train. So this is not a fake video. This is a real video. If I have enough electricity, I would upload the video, but my phone battery may die soon, So I will upload the video right now.